Okay, France, Italy in the Six Nations. Now, the game was played in Lille. All France's home games in this Six Nations are on the road. They're not in Paris because of the Olympics and the Stade de France being made ready for the Summer Olympics. Now, the first half finishes 10-3 in favour of France. Overall, it finished 13-all. Yes, Garbisi missed a penalty right at the end. The ball falls off the tee. He runs out on the shot clock. He has seconds left and he pings it off the post. But everything in the previous 80 minutes is interesting. The Italian defence cannot be questioned. Their commitment and intensity in defence has got them the draw today. They should have won. I don't think the French try should have stood. I think there is a knock-on in there. I think the TMO's got that wrong. The Dante yellow card being upgraded to a red. We are seeing inconsistencies in this area, and I've been very critical of the TMO yellow-red card review system for foul play ever since the World Cup. Complete lack of consistency in that area, but it was upgraded to a red. That's had a massive impact on the game because Italy win the second half and were the better side in the second half. Capiozzo's try was a team try from a scrum in their own 22. They basically run it through the hands, through the phases, 85 metres, and it ends up in the corner. And, that's on 69 minutes. The game's turned on its head. And then, France just completely implode in the second half. And they weren't great in the first half, to be fair. Now, the Olivant try, that is a knock-on. He does not have full control of that. That does hit Lamoureux on the way down before he regains control, which is classed as a knock-on. The TMO has given it as a try. That's on 6 minutes. Now, Tomo Ramos converts that. He then slots a penalty on 14 minutes. Italy, it's looking like one of those days where it's just not going to be their day, and they're going to be bled dry by a misfiring French side. Now, Dupont is in the 7 setup for the Olympics, so he's not available, and Entomac is still not fully fit, so he's not available. So Jalibert is the starting fly half, and Luke, who's the starting scrum half. Jalibert would go off injured with a knee injury. So Tomo Ramos has to go to fly half, and this is before Dante is literally simbing on the stroke of half time. Now, the handling errors, both sides had a lot of them. France had a lot of the ball, a lot of handling errors, but the Italian defence was committed, desperate at times, but they kept their discipline in defence and they had to absorb wave after wave of pressure. Now, right at the end of the first half is obviously the penalty. Pagliarello slots that on 40 minutes. From a fair distance out, he gives that a fair clout, and that's because Dante's only been sin-binned at this point. Over the half-time period, that is upgraded to a red. Now, in the second half, Ramos does slot a penalty on 44 minutes. That'll be the last points France score. As the second half wore on, Italy basically won the battle. They turn the screw. France basically implode. They implode. Their discipline completely disintegrates. The dominant scrum they had in the first half disintegrates. Italy now have a dominant scrum. And Garbisi slots a penalty on 61 minutes before the Capuozzo try. I mean, this was a fantastic team try, and this is what the Italians have been threatening for a while. They actually proved they could do it against England, but they were really threatening this type of play for a while. They showed it in patches in the World Cup. They scored a great try against New Zealand. Obviously, that win against Wales as well, where they had a similar try where it was just no fear. They had no fear in attack. They are playing some dangerous plays in their 22, but as the game wore on, the French were getting exhausted. They were moving that big French pack around with their speeding. They sped up the recycling. They hit the line. Brex has been outstanding. Capuozzo from fullback has been outstanding. Maury has just been a beast before he was taken off. They really put in a shift. The whole starting 15 and the bench put in a shift. That try on 69 minutes is one of the tries of the tournament because of the interplay between players to get from a scrum in their own 22 down into the far left-hand corner. And it's a fantastic try. The handling, the interplay, the speed of it was brilliant, and Garbisi slots the conversion. Now, the penalty right on the stroke of full time, the ball falls off the tee. The ball falls off the tee. Also, a French player actually charged that. That should have been, like, clocks off, he can take that at his own leisure. The referee's got that one wrong. I felt the referee had a very, very good game, but I do think the Olivant try should not have stood, because it's obvious he's knocked it on the way down to scoring off Lamoureux, the Italian captain's head. You can see it on the replays that the TMO has said that he's regained control before touching the ball down. Now, that first 15, 20 minutes, you think the French are going to blow Italy out the water, and then it all just falls apart. They are lucky to get a draw out of this. I think the Italians can feel frustrated that they didn't get the win. But they wanted it more. The French have not looked great in this Six Nations. Obviously, the talk going into the World Cup last year is they're one of the best teams in the world. They're playing really well. So far, since that quarter-final, the French have not looked great. And they didn't look great against Scotland. They got lucky against Scotland. They were poor against Ireland. And Italy, I think, deserved to take the win out of this one. It's one of those results where the better side gets the draw. France, I would say even before half-time, things were starting to go wrong before the Pagliarello penalty. The last 5, maybe 10 minutes of the first half, things were starting to go wrong. And they completely imploded. And this is a weakness that the French have. When things start to go wrong, they can go very, very wrong. Now, they haven't lost the game, but I think Italy can take more out of this game than the French. The French now have some injury concerns. They have some concerns at fly half. Ramos is not a fly half. While I know he's been playing there for club level, it's only been in the last couple of weeks that he's been playing there at club level. Thomas Ramos is not a fly half. It completely disrupted the back line. And Dante, he's looking at a fair suspension. I don't think we see Jonathan Dante in the rest of the Six Nations. Now, the tackle itself, is it the worst one we've seen? No. But he goes in bolt upright, he flies out the line at pace. Brex has already passed the ball, so technically it is a late tackle as well, although marginally. If he lowers his tackle height, and he's committed, I don't think that's even a penalty. But his tackle height is too high. The ball has gone, although it is a split second, and there's too much force with the head. Now, we've had this debate in both codes, Union and League, in regards to accidental head clashes. But because he's the tackler and he's come in, shot out the line, and he's hit that tackle with a fair bit of force, and the ball has gone, that hasn't helped his case. But I do think this new TMO review system, I mean, that was 8 or 9 phases later that they pulled that back. There was another infringement by the French, and it's pulled back for this foul play. Now, the other infringement was closer to the post at a harder angle. The Italians have decided to take the distance kick with the easier angle. But I'm surprised with the amount of penalties in the second half the French gave away that there wasn't a team warning for discipline and a potential for a second yellow card. So there we go. Italy, I think, deserved to win that game. The commitment they showed in defence was there. That was a response from the dismal performance last week. And it also backs up what they did against England as well, where they nearly beat England and they really had no fear in attack. They were willing to run it from deep. They run it more. The Italians kick the least and they run the most. And if they kick, they don't score Capuozzo's try. They really gave it everything in that second half. And a ball falling off the tee right at the end has cost them a little bit. But I think the Italians can take more out of that game positively than the French. The French something's not right with this French setup since the World Cup. There is definitely something going on. There's clearly issues there. It's pretty much the same squad that went to the World Cup with a handful of changes. The Italians, their forward pack is decimated. Their entire starting back row, apart from Lamaro, most of their back row are injured at the moment. Some key players that they would normally have in their back row are not available. Some key players they would have in their second row and in their front row are not available. Their forward pack is under strength. They're on their 4th choice prop. So for the Italians to get that kind of result is a massive plus. And people say, they shouldn't be in the Six Nations. Wales look dreadful, by the way. Wales look absolutely hopeless. So I don't think the Welsh, with how they've been playing it, I think the Italians will do the Welsh and do them handsomely. They showed commitment, they showed energy, and they really worked hard for each other. The French look disjointed, individualistic, and I think they get lucky with their try as well, which I don't think should have been given. But there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Place your thoughts on the game in the comment section below, and I'll have some more content for you very, very soon.